speaking of you and your fabulous, like this amazing journey to the presidency, in 2018, your presidency had ended.
Mm-hmm.
And did you stay on I'm still trying to understand that when it changed. Did you stay on the board for a year to support Lori coming in? And
So I was officially the past president for a
okay.
year, and I stayed on as the chapter liaison to the PMI Educational Foundation, still supporting the social good activities. I
Okay.
was also at the time participating in PMI Global's Leadership Institute Masterclass, which was an honor to be selected to be part of this class that was a year-long journey. There were 32 of us from 24 countries around the
Oh,
world
wow.
that got to go on it was a personal journey of discovery, learning about yourself and how to make yourself more of a servant leader and how to bring yourself to your leadership. And it just was an amazing opportunity to go through that with, again, a global group from around the world. And PMI Global, it just shows that they give back to their volunteers by making those opportunities available.
And
So
what was the
since
name of the
then,
masterclass?
it's the Leadership Institute Masterclass.
Got it.
And since then, I've stayed engaged with PMI Global. I'm no longer a volunteer at the chapter level, although I'm still a chapter member and, and stay connected. But now I'm volunteering with PMI Global with the
Okay.
Community Engagement Committee, which is a committee of the PMI Educational Foundation globally.
Gotcha.
So I serve as the mentor for 50 chapters in South Central and East Central North America.
Wow. Wow. What are some of the work? I mean, we're all sitting here going, whoa, okay. So what are you doing with that? What is some of the work that's happening?
Those chapters have PMIEF liaisons, which was the
Okay.
role that I took when I ended as president. And they're the people within the chapter who are responsible for social good and for bringing social good programs into the chapter. PMIF has shifted in the last 2 years, and they're focused on youth development specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about those project management skills for life,
Yeah.
making sure that people have those skills.
Yeah.
So I'm mentoring chapters in how to bring that to their chapters and include their members in all of those good things. And the
Oh,
Rochester chapter is very fortunate to have Manisha Monday as the liaison, their liaison to PMIEF. And Manisha's got a lot of great things in the works to engage with youth and to give opportunities for our members to bring their skills to teach the next generation of project managers and just youth in general.
will I get them to clean their rooms?
I don't know, but if it's set up as a project.
I think that's wonderful that you really touch on the full life cycle. It is definitely a life skill. It's definitely something that starts at a very young age. We see that structure happen in the schools and the daycares, and how can we implement that at home and that kind of planning. But that doesn't mean creativity doesn't happen. It actually opens the door for greater creativity. And how do we encourage that in our youth? So you're sharing so much that you're doing outside of your career. We know that once you're a volunteer, you're always a volunteer, and it's
That's
never
right.
just with the same organization. Outside of PMI Global, are you volunteering anywhere else, or do you have hobbies, or when do you sleep?
So I am the Girl Scout leader for my daughter's soon to be 4th grade
Yep.
class. So talk about a great opportunity to impact youth.
Yes.
So that helps in a couple ways. I give back, and it also allows me to be connected with my daughter and
Yeah.
involved in what she's doing.
Yeah.
And that's it for the volunteerism.
I don't know
That's
where else you
enough.
have time.
And then, of course, spending time with my children and just like many of our members are going through. I have an 8-year-old and an almost 10-year-old, and helping them with their school and
Oh, yes.
all the craziness that we're going through right now. So I can empathize with what many of us are going through and doing it myself.
And I think we've all learned a very harsh lesson, or at least I have, in that I'm not a teacher. I mean, I'm a teacher,
Not a
I'm a coach,
teacher,
I'm a
right?
mentor, but I'm not a teacher of 7-year-olds.
Yep, I have so much respect for my kids' teachers.
Yes, I think all of us, our respect levels just went through the roof.
Yes,
I mean, it was
absolutely.
definitely, and that goes along to talk about ride-alongs. And I think one of the things that I have always truly appreciated about being a project manager is I'll reach out to, a development team and say, okay, you keep talking about this particular switch in this particular building for telecom. Can I go see it? Can I just go see what that does? Can I go take a look at this? Can I go take, so it's the ride along capability. And we have that ride along capability with the distance learning we've done with our children. And it's given us that massive amount of perspective and respect. Have you had any opportunities to do any kind of ride along or dig deep or learn more about something in particular where you went, wow, that's fascinating. I don't want to do it, but it's great.
So that was one of the great things very, very early in my career about being involved in business development. So part of the job of business development is being on the front lines with your customers. And it was a lot of travel, 70% travel, but I was able to be on we're the fleet of fighter jets where we were building radars for, and talk to the people on the front lines and understand their needs. Talk to the customers in Taiwan who we were helping set up a manufacturing facility for them, and look in their facility and see what their problems were. I think anytime that a project manager has the opportunity to personally visit and see the product that they're supporting, that's critical. Now in healthcare, right now in healthcare, to the ability to talk to the nurses, to talk to the doctors and providers, and look at the needs from their view is just super critical and super important, because you can put technology in their hands, but if it doesn't meet the needs, then
or if they
no one's going to want it, right?
Right. Yes. How do you make sure you're building the right thing for what they need, and then they'll want to engage in that and use it. And so I have two. I've got to go back to the fighter jets really quickly. Did you get to ride in one?
No, they don't let you. Simulators, but no.
Oh, even a simulator. Not everybody gets to do that every day. That's fantastic. Do the simulators turn your belly too, or?
A little bit. I'm sure not like the real thing.
And then going back to what you were talking about with being on the front lines and ensuring that what you're helming as a project manager is really going to meet all of your stakeholders' needs, because it's one of our responsibilities is to bring that back. We've had massive process changes with COVID in this pandemic. We've had massive tool changes. We've had industries that everyone came into the office. Now all of a sudden they had to catch up and figure out how to work from home, and folks who've never used Teams before or any kind of video chat. And it's all this new technology is hitting everybody. What are some of the major changes that or processes that you saw needed to occur within the healthcare industry, which is typically very hands-on and very nurturing?
Yes, and because we're healthcare, we obviously continued to stay hands-on as much as we could on the front lines. But I'm fortunate in that I've worked with global teams for so many years that for me, it was easy to adapt and shift to the virtual world. And I think that's the strength that a lot of us project managers bring. Is for us, it was fairly seamless to shift and to move meetings remote. I think the value we can offer is in helping teach our partners, our customers, and on how to do it as well. And we bring those leadership skills to them.
One of our biggest roles is as coach.
I'm sorry?
One of our biggest roles is coaching.
Is coach, yes. Now, from just a pure project management perspective, one of the things that we learned in our PMO is we've been talking about being agile, but being a PMO in healthcare quickly made us realize what true agility is during COVID. And probably a third of our portfolio went on hold, shifted, and changed for new priorities and new projects that were stood up at the medical centers to support the needs of COVID. And the teams did a great job of, again, listening to the customers, quickly getting their requirements and their needs and shifting for them. But we didn't have the luxury that we sometimes have to have a big, long scoping phase and long upfront requirements gathering. Everyone had to be flexible, and everyone did it because it was so important. Now the question will be, how do we shift that to a long-term view? Because you can't always be in crisis mode. In crisis mode, people are willing to be agile. So now that's what we're reflecting on, is how do we shift to become long-term agile, but obviously not in crisis mode, and still making sure that we focus on strategy as well.
Right. In crisis mode can be successful for a short period of time because everyone understands their roles and responsibilities, but it wears people down.
It's not sustainable. And I think that's the point we're at right now with COVID and with our new normal that we talk about, is people are starting to feel now some of the strain of what they've been doing since March. And now the question is, how do we shift and support our employees and our teams in still being able to be productive and keep going, but maybe not in crisis mode? What's the workplace going to look like now?